I need a $3,000 LiveScope to go out and catch crappie. Let's be real here. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you my 15-minute rule that I've used pretty much my entire life, from my dad teaching me to everything else. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Crappie Man Jigs. I'm Steven Turner. So like I said in the intro, 15 minutes. That's all you need, 15 minutes. And I'm not talking about the length of the video. I'm talking about per spot. If you're spending more than 15 minutes per spot and you're not catching fish, this is the video for you. So what I mean by 15 minutes is I'm going to pull up to an area. Say I pull up to a dock. All right. Maybe you've had a history on the dock, or you're just trying to find stuff, trying to find fish. I'm going to pull up to a dock. So a dock, you know, it's a square. You got four areas that you can fish. So as soon as that first cast goes off, your 15-minute timer starts. So first cast, what are you throwing? Me personally, I take 3 colors: chartreuse, monkey milk, and Urgle, which is chartreuse would be a bright color bait. That's going to be my first cast. If that doesn't work in 3 or 4 casts, I'm probably going to try monkey milk. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try a Urgle color, which is a really natural color. You can get all these at crappiemanjigs.com. So first cast, 132, 164, right down the side of that dock. I'm going to let it come down. I don't know what depth you're fishing in. I'm not you. You got to figure out what depth. I'm trying to hit as many depth areas as I can within 15 minutes. So I know if there's fish in the area. So cast down the dock, let it pendulum back, cast down, let it go deeper, cast down, let it go a little bit shallower, cast, let it go deeper, wind, and then switch. Cast this way, same process, hit every side of that dock. And then, you know, you've changed a couple colors, you changed this, you're using a hand tie, 2 rods, one with a hand tie, one with a plastic. You're being productive. Now, if you fish all 4 corners, every little thing that you can skip up under it, you can do whatever up under that dock, and within 15 minutes, if you haven't had a bite, you're going to take your ACC crappie sticks, because that's what you should be using. You're going to lay it back in your boat, and you're going to go to the next dock, the next bridge pylon, the next brush pile. Now, you may sit here and say, "But Steven, I don't know how to find brush piles. I don't have electronics." This is what you do. You get a rod and reel that you don't care about. You put a hook on it and a weight. And while you're trolling, just have the sucker dragging out the back. Just drag it along with you. If it gets hung, there's something there. Fish it. I mean, that's about the only way I can tell you how to find a brush pile if you don't have any kind of electronics. Any kind. But that's what today's video is about. We're in the mindset of having no 2D, no LiveScope, no side scan, no nothing. Docks and bridges. Docks and bridges. Visible structure is what you're looking for. Laydowns, bushes, dock pylons, random lawn chairs in the middle of the water. If you're fishing from the bank, you're fishing from just a John boat with a motor on it, maybe a trolling motor, no nothing else, you want to fish visual targets, because you don't have to spend time looking for the hidden gem of brush piles underneath the water. So now back to that dock we were talking about. You hit all 4 corners, 15 minutes. You're going to try to change depths on every single cast. Every single cast, you're going to do something a little bit different. You know, I may cast down that dock, I may cast down that bridge pylon, and I'm just going to hold it. Let that jig pendulum back to me. And then I'll wind it up slow. All right, next cast, go a little bit further. Wind it a little bit, let it drop. Wind it a little bit, let it drop. Etc. Every cast, do something different. But there's going to be active fish on whatever you're fishing if they're there. 99% of the time, whatever you're fishing, if you're fishing on that dock that has the brush up under it, or that dock that just holds fish because it's on a channel swing, the bridge that has the creek channel running next to it, and they hold up in there while they shift from their summer pattern to their fall pattern, from their spring pattern back to their summer pattern, etc. there's going to be active fish in those areas that you're fishing. And if you don't get bit within 15 minutes, you're wasting time because those active fish are going to bite. They're not going to need a certain technique. They're not going to need a certain pop in their face. Those active fish, whenever you cast, whatever side of that dock, whatever side of that laydown, whatever side of that bridge, if that jig comes in their strike zone, because the fall time, your strike zone is like this, right? Summertime, strike zone, it can be like this big. Wintertime, strike zone can be like that. But fall, in the spring, you got a big one. As long as that they can see that jig or feel that jig, if the water's muddy, they're going to bite it. It don't matter if you're 2 feet to the right, 2 feet to the left, 1 feet behind them, 1 feet over here. As long as you're above them, you're going to get a bite if the fish are there. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's the whole reason for that whole is I'm trying to explain if those fish are there within 15 minutes of you fishing every possible angle that you can fish within 15 minutes, using every single depth change, presentation change, a couple color changes, hair jig, you should get a bite. And if you don't get a bite, it's all right. You go to the next one. Say you're fishing a row of 20 docks. You hit every dock 15 minutes. And eventually, you're going to get a bite. And some days you don't. That's fishing. If you hit 5 or 6 docks and they're in a depth that you feel, you got to have a feeling these fish should be here. If you don't get a bite, go do something different. Don't sit there and fish 20 docks in a row and not get a bite. Fish 5 or 10 docks, hit every possible angle that you can, and then go to a bridge. Go to a laydown. Go to something that you can get a bite on and spend 15 minutes on that. If that doesn't work, try another one. If that doesn't work, try another one. Now, a lot of you beginners watching this, you're like, damn, dude, I don't know how to fish a jig. I do have videos on that. I do have videos how to fish a crappie jig. Go check them out. Or, hey, use minnows. Put a minnow beside the dock. Put a minnow beside the bridge. Keep 2 or 3 minnows at different depths while you're fishing a jig. If those get bit, hey, that minnow got bit at 8 feet of water. Oh, that minnow got bit at 6 feet of water. Maybe I should be fishing my jig at 6 feet. Oh my Lord, I figured them out. So that's kind of, you've got to take your time, but do it in 15 minutes. There's been plenty of times before I had electronics, I would pull up to a dock, caught fish on there in the past, skip up under that dock, nothing. Skip this way, nothing. Go on the other side of it, nothing. And then I go to the next dock, repeat the process. And then bam, I got a bite. Now, once you get a bite, what do you do? Now, growing up with my dad, he is very notorious for making a fish bite. But what I didn't realize as I was growing up was he was doing a 15-minute rule in his head. Now, it may have been a little bit longer than 15 minutes, but we didn't fish areas very long. And we had some old Garmin 5-inch screens. Like, that thing probably lied to you 90% of the time, but it showed you where the brush was. So we would pull up, he would find the brush, he'd make a couple casts, and all right, let's go. I'm like, what you doing, man? We just got here. And he would put the trolling motor up, and we would go to the next one. And then he'd make a couple casts. Let's go. And we'd go to the next one. We'd go to a dock, make a couple casts. Bam, he caught one. Now, after he caught one, that's where I learned how to make the same cast. So, after he caught a fish, he would repeat that cast over and over and over. To A, you're going to eliminate whether that was a dumbass fish that bit, or B, you found them, you're on the school, that same cast is going to catch a lot of those fish. And that's what ended up happening. It was either A, he caught one fish, he made that cast a bunch of times, it didn't work, he changed it up, he might catch another one, or he might not catch any. Then, following that 15-minute rule, we would hit enough places during the day, you were efficient. That's what this whole video is about, is being efficient. efficient on the water. You were efficient enough to hit enough areas to get enough bites so you could crack down and you find that one spot. It's every cast. As soon as you figure out the certain angle, the certain depth on a place that should have fish, that has fish, that wants to be active fish, and you put your jig in that big strike zone and you catch them. So I know it's a lot of rambling on today's video. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you're like, man, this dude's freaking crazy. But if you have, I do invite you to hit the subscribe button. Check out crappiemanjigs.com. Grab you an ACC crappie stick. Best rod on the planet, man.